Doing a quick video on the Lexx exhaust system for the Raptor 700. I got an extremely good deal on this, and on my old 2007 Raptor, my exhaust on there is a little bit beat up. Had a little bit of an accident, but overall, I mean, the exhaust works fine, no issues, no rattles. But I don't have a spark arrestor for it, and I've not been able to find one that really fits properly or doesn't just blow out the back of this exhaust. It was a full exhaust and header package, so I'm really hoping this Lexx will fit the header that I've got on there right now. I really don't know. Yeah, so it was very affordable. Ordered it in from Rocky Mountain. They got it to me really fast. Those guys are awesome over there. But the exhaust itself, this is everything I've got with it. The only thing that did not come with the exhaust was this extra spark arrestor, and I'll show you that and the reason why in a minute. So the exhaust itself, unboxing, really nice. This thing is well built. The welds all look good. I mean, it just looks like a really nice piece of kit here for what I need it to do. Again, I just trail ride, so I don't care about, you know, super expensive exhaust or anything else. I just need it to be relatively quiet and tunable. And this exhaust gives me a whole ton of options for that. So the way it came out of the box, you can see the exhaust can here. Let me see if I can orient it. And it had a race tip that came with it. I think this is 46 millimeters. Again, kind of hard to focus, but nice little welds on that, just holding a piece of pipe in. That red sticky stuff annoyed the hell out of me, to be honest with you. It really stuck it together to get it pulled off of the can. But so the way it comes assembled from Lexx is you have this US Forest Service approved spark arrestor. Looks kind of high flow for a spark arrestor and low noise, so it's got a smaller diameter pipe. And what they did, see if I can set this up real quick, is they had this inserted, well, I'll do it this way. They had this inserted into the pipe like that. They have the 46 millimeter race tip over the top of that, so you can kind of see it looks like a dual little pipe setup. And then they had the actual Lexx nice little cone over the top there. So that's kind of the way it came factory. Now what I did is, because I wanted the most performance I could get out of it, again without going too crazy or anything, especially price wise, and try to mimic the flow of my exhaust I have on there to the best of the ability, so I don't have to do too much reprogramming in my fuel computer, is I ordered in this extra spark arrestor, this optional spark arrestor. So it's this little piece here, and kind of similar to what I have in my wife's GYTR series exhaust up there. It looks pretty much the same. It's just a little cone filter, or spark arrestor I should say. And so I'm going to be using this 46 millimeter race tip, or just performance tip. I'm going to remove this particular spark arrestor, and we ride out in the middle of the desert, middle of nowhere, so I'm not really too concerned about noise, but I am going to keep it on hand in case anybody does complain, or, you know, Ranger or somebody does complain. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this optional spark arrestor. I'll be inserting it into the pipe, and then I'm going to have the optional high flow setup installed on top of that, and then we'll put the tip over the whole assembly, and that's kind of going to be my setup. So let me see if I can get that together, just kind of mock it up. So it's going to go kind of like that, so it's going to be a little bit higher flow of a setup than what it would have come with out of the box. Overall, it really doesn't look too much different than what I've had on there since 2007. You've got these little mounting brackets with rubber isolating rings. They've got the actual pipe, and again, I really hope this mates up to my header. I don't know. That's going to really suck if it doesn't, because I don't have another header for it. And you get a little hardware kit here. Looks like all nice components and hardware kit. It's got some springs to kind of lock it together. They use looks like nylon coated bolts just for vibration resistance, and they give you a little Lexx exhaust systems decal. Fit and finish on the exhaust, I got no complaints. The thing is solid as a rock. The anodizing looks really good on here. it's kind of nice the way they did the modular design, so your pipe is not welded to the exhaust, so you can pull the exhaust itself right off this pipe and replace it or repack it or whatever you got to do without pulling more of the system out. But I see how they did it, and I see how they cut costs on there, kind of make it modular. And you know, they've got great reviews. I think there's 460 or more reviews on Rocky Mountain that say this exhaust is great. And especially for what we're doing, we're just trail riding. It's nothing, we're not going to be out racing or anything like that. I don't need a $400, you know, exhaust setup for this bike. And yeah, we're going to get this installed and see how it goes. And I actually have a second Lexx system that I bought because my son's Raptor is in the exact same shape mine is. No spark arrestor, really old exhaust system. And we've got to get him legal and make sure that we're not going to cause any wildfires or anything like that here in Arizona. The last thing we need is burning down our desert. So I'm going to sign off for now, and I'm going to get this guy installed. We're going to see how it sounds, see how it looks on the bike. Again, I'm replacing this old, I think it's an Alba setup, and it's mean sounding right now. I don't really care about that, but it's really loud, mean sounding, and we'll see how this Lexx sounds in comparison. And I'll sign off now. Talk to you soon. Okay, so during the install process, I discovered that yeah, these two pipes definitely are different diameter. So this was a system back from 2007 designed to work with the header. This pipe is too small, but Lexx provided an adapter that goes inside the exhaust so it fits up to a smaller pipe. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this adapter out and put it reversed over the pipe to see if I can get this to mate up. And oh man, yeah, even this is smaller diameter. So we're going to see if we can kind of make a shim for this to fit inside that other exhaust and kind of do the inverse of what this is doing right now to see if we can get it to mate up and seal. So if everything works out, I'll be back in a little bit and I'll show you guys what I ended up doing to make this work. Exhaust sounds real good, blows real good too. A little bit of smoke coming off the blanket, that's normal. So, but got it all on with fairly little effort. Do notice there is a short bracket here. It's got a short piece, and then you have a long piece here. So those are important. If you get those backwards, it doesn't line up very well. Yeah, that makes for a long night. That kind of sucks. But it wasn't that bad once we figured it out that those brackets were two different lengths. Everything lined up on both exhausts, on my son's exhaust and my exhaust. One spring broke out of the two. So not too worried about it, but that is what happened. I did make some out of some heat shield and blanket, thermal blanket. Let me put the spring over. Made a little bit of a heat shield just for the plastics here. Again, that's turbo blanket or thermal blanket. I usually use that on headers and things like that. It's not a tape, but it's something you cut out and you can use stainless zip ties on. The header or the pipe comes a little bit close to some of the rubber lines here and soft lines, so I had to put another piece of blanket here. And as I was worried about, my old exhaust actually slipped over the outside of this pipe. And so what I had to do, and I cut a little bit too much, but is what it is. This pipe actually fit inside, but it fit slightly loose. So this exhaust is quite a bit smaller diameter than the whatever brand this was. I think it might have been Alba from way back in the day. So this was a pretty large header. So what I ended up doing is cutting a relief out of that. So when I put this T-bolt clamp on, it's going to sync that up and kind of prevent exhaust leak. But it's going to leak out of there because I cut a little bit too much. So I'm probably have to get out my welder and just pop a little bead right there. Or I can put a secondary clamp kind of over that and just cover that area. But that's my mistake. But overall, that's it. The exhaust looks good. I did fire it up. It does sound good. Well worth the money paid. As long as it lasts out on the trail and nothing breaks. But I think it's going to be pretty solid. So that's it for my video. Happy trails.